Alright, let's watch a chat. Are you ready? Payment processors are getting destroyed by gamers.
We got a hilarious update on the payment processor situation. Quick context to this. Early on, when Collective Shout went after payment processors to try and get them to go after Steam, and Steam ended up changing their policies over all this stuff, removing certain adult games. You know the story. Well, people were coming up with ideas to fight back against the payment processors, and one of the ideas that was being shared early on was, for example, as you can see here on our Steam, 5 days ago, how to directly pressure payment processors. If you have a Visa card, go here. Tell Visa.
I'll play devil's advocate here because the Karens essentially did the same thing. The Karens cried to Visa, and this is why this is happening. So gamers are fighting back.
You're ticked. We need to directly pressure them.
Yeah.
Be nice. Don't be rude. Remember, customer service that you're talking to didn't make the decision.
True.
But we need to stand up against censorship.
Good.
And so some people are sharing their testimonials, if you will, their stories about what happened when they contacted these payment processors. And it seems like this is actually, on some level, working. So this is a good update and also a hilarious one. So I mentioned there were some testimonials, or however you want to put it. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This user saying, Visa card representative yelled at me. I called this number and simply asked about the content guideline. I got, we've been getting thousands of calls. You talked to someone? Who did you call? Other people accepted what I said, so why don't you?
This reminds me of when I called Amazon because they locked my account and I made a new one. And I wasn't even angry at them, but the girl that I got was really like, she hated her job, and I feel like she would have quit on the spot if I yelled at her. So I didn't. She just completely was like, have you tried this? And I said, yes, I've tried everything. And they're like, I have to do my damn job now, don't I? Frick, man.
And then saying at
these
Visa
poor
is
people.
Cooked. And then we also got this one saying, did what I could today. Did some work. Called Visa. The man was understanding. Put me on hold for 25 minutes. When back, it was a new person who was very tired. I then repeated the whole story, and I could hear the sigh of energy.
Why are they allowed to put you on hold for 25 minutes?
Draining when they knew what it was leading to. This one's crazy. Says, I wish this was a joke, but I got called a predator today by a Visa.
No, I don't believe that. Genuinely, I don't believe that. Do you realize they record the... Yeah, they record your thing and you can get... Yeah, like you can't do that. Unless you had like a mental breakdown, I guess, but I don't buy it. I need to hear it myself. I don't buy this.
Rep, think I just happened to be called that. Wait, think I just happened to be a call that pushed the woman over. Excuse me.
Maybe.
Lodged 2 formal complaints after that and spun circles on the 2 calls and was about 25 minutes.
Holy.
Why would you get called a predator though? What the frick, dude? And we've also got this one. Says, had a similar issue on the phone yesterday with Visa in which they were hyper aggressive. And the woman even tried suggesting that I must have been buying illegal content. What? Before launching into her, I'm going to disconnect the call now script. Wait. So...
You know, I actually believe that one at least because they didn't get mad at them and call them names.
Is the implication here that they're being called like predators and buying illegal content because they're fighting?
I don't believe the whole predator name calling. That is so strong.
Back against these restrictions.
I've worked at call centers before and I've seen reps crash out. Yeah, but I feel like crashing out is different from like calling someone a predator. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I understand people have mental breakdowns, but like, I feel like just, you know, that's like another like step above, you know?
That seems like the sort of thing like
Collective
Shout would say. Like, I wouldn't expect this from people who are just like Visa hotline people. And I kind of feel bad for them on one hand because like they're just, you know, the employees who are not responsible for these policy decisions and whatnot. But like, they shouldn't be accusing people of being predators and saying they're buying illegal content and everything. My point is, that seems like the sort of thing you would expect Collective Shout to say, right? Like, oh, you're upset with us going after these games. You must be a predator, or you must be buying illegal content or something. You know, some nonsensical point like that. But apparently these people are saying that even some of these Visa hotline people are saying stuff like this to them. Maybe I'm misunderstanding this. I'm just trying to make sense of, some of these responses that people are apparently getting. And as Rich...
Wait, that's actually a really good point. MasterCard officially claimed in their public statement that they don't know what you're buying, so they're banning you off of all the platforms. That they're banning the ability to buy anything off of the platform because they can't control it. So then why are representatives saying that you're buying illegal content? They don't know that.
In here, the folks applying pressure know that someone at a call center has limited power in a scenario like this. Typically, agents are equipped to handle standard customer issues like payment fraud or credit card loss. But the point is not to enact change through a specific phone call. It's to cause enough disruption that the ruckus theoretically starts costing payment processors money. That takes us back over to Japanese politician Zenko Kurishita. As what's written here shows you how Collective Shout went about this, and why this strategy that gamers are now using to go after payment processors is essentially fighting fire with fire. So he says, the Australian organization Collective Shout has been pushing for content restrictions on Steam and itch.io. According to records published on their website, they sent 1,067 emails to payment processors like Visa and MasterCard starting in May.
Only 1,000 in like a month and a half? Nah. Do Karens hold that much power, chat? I can't believe it, man. 1,000 emails. And they actually answer them? Like, when I email a corporation or something, they just tell me to go kick rocks. It's the specific Karens they are, too. I guess, because they're, like, presidents or whatever.
If such a number of emails led to regulations that cost around 20,000 adult games to disappear, with reports also indicating that these games were removed from the libraries of users who had previously purchased them, it can only be described as a serious threat to creators and users. Even though there might have been many times more people who felt those works were fine or liked them, what about the effort put in by these creators? They are unilaterally decided without consideration.
That's what I said. I said that they get taken off without a trial. They don't have Steam look at the actual game content, and they just remove it without question. It's so unfair on them.
This asymmetry, along with the lack of transparency and information disclosure, is also a significant issue. And he cites Collective Shout's, presumably their own website here, where they outline some of their strategy as we just went over. And as mentioned, the point to this is, well, if Collective Shout sent around 1,000 emails for that period of a few months or whatever it was, I mean, the internet can do a lot more than that. Internet can do a lot more than that, man.
Yeah, but then they label the gamers and the males that, call the centers to harass them, incels and predators, because they're not getting what they want. We literally saw it. They started blaming Elon Musk, saying that because he reposted game censorship, that it was Elon Musk's fault that they got death threats. Like, the cope and the victimization is unreal.
And so it's kind of hilarious seeing these payment processors bending the knee to Collective Shout. And now it's like, oh, really? Okay, 1K emails and however many phone calls that these Australian feminists may have sent. Well, good luck now with the internet coming after you. Now, as I said before, I think it's completely reasonable speculation that the executives at these payment processors actually have no issue with Collective Shout trying to get them to do this stuff. What I mean more specifically is they want to try and abuse their power and see what they can get away with. So I don't think like the whole Collective Shout thing worked simply because they annoy these payment processors. No, I think these payment processors also saw this as an opportunity to test how much power and control they have.
And it worked, right? Man.
So simply annoying them back doesn't mean that they may start operating in a different way when those executives literally want to try to control the internet. But the point still stands.
But we've already talked about this. They already did this with Pixiv. They did this with a bunch of Japanese, what was it? It was an art website, which was Pixiv. And then there was several websites that provide anime and other products like manga and stuff because they don't agree with the content. There's that weeb dating site. Was DL site? Yeah, that too. That was like almost a year ago. This has just kind of been like pushed forward because of these women. Yeah, the Dojin sites got shut down and they had to change payment processors. And they did this with Patreon, didn't they? They pressured Patreon to change the rules on their site. Because they were like, stop using our credit card company for purchasing explicit content. So realistically, this isn't even the first time it's happened.
That using the strategy of fighting fire with fire and clogging up their logistics can still harm the company. Here's a testimonial on Steam 4 days ago. This is about an email, so a bit different from the ones we read earlier regarding phone call responses. Says, so I got a response from Visa. Reads, hello, redacted. Thank you for reaching out and sharing your perspective. As a global company, we follow the laws and regulations everywhere we do business. While we explicitly prohibit illegal activity on our network, we are equally committed to protecting illegal commerce. If a transaction is legal, our policy is to process the transaction. We do not make moral judgments on legal purchases made by consumers. We don't make moral
judgments, except for things that we don't like.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh. The OP goes on and like calls that out too. We'll get to that though. Visa does not moderate content sold by merchants, nor do we have what? They really saying that? Visa does not moderate content sold by merchants, nor do we have visibility into the specific goods or services sold when we...
So we're just gonna blanket ban everyone from using a website because that one website has a naughty game in it. Oh, what? It's not even illegal, we just don't like it.
Process a transaction. When a legally operating merchant faces an elevated risk of legal activity, we require enhanced safeguards for the banks supporting those merchants. For more information on Visa's policies, please visit our network integrity page on visa.com, hyperlinked. Thank you for writing, Visa Webmaster. And as mentioned, the OP calls this out. I guess I will just remove myself for a second. It reads, so basically their response was the biggest gaslighting I've ever seen. Talk about trying to block the sun with one finger. Never heard that one before, it's funny. They completely deny moderating content even when there's an overabundance of evidence. Anyways.
No, but in the public statement, they literally said, we do not know what transactions you are using to buy certain things. Like, we don't know if you paid $5 for a stick of bubble gum or a naughty magazine. But then at the same time, they're like, we're not making moral issues, chat. You're allowed to buy whatever you want, but like, don't actually do that though.
So we should keep on pressing the issue.
No,
I'll share the template I used on the first comment and the Visa website so you can give them your regards. Just remember to be polite but firm. Also, the template has been modified by me to not have invalid characters and have enough characters to send without issue, but is based on a template another user shared. Now, hypothetically, guys, I'm just throwing this out there. I'm not saying this is a good idea, but like, if the single goal is to just like clog up their logistics and make things more complicated for the company and all that, that means you could even call them and just like make up some completely like insane story about like a fake fraud case that happened or something. Like
I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea to lie about a fraud case, but you can bother them.
You don't even need to actually
tell them how naughty this is, that they're trying to control you.
Referring to, like the payment processor, censorship and whatnot. You could be like, yeah, dude, my freaking dog was like chewing up my credit card and then I was trying to take it from his mouth and like my hand slipped after I like pulled it out. Oh, that sounded kind of weird, but
it got stuck
the
in the
credit card
butter.
Like went flying and some freaking like homeless person picked it up and ran off and I couldn't catch him. And now I think I'm like worried that there's a bunch of fake purchases. And then they're like, okay, what's your information so we can help you? It's like, dude, I don't remember. It's on the card. Like, I don't have the card anymore. Like, you got to help me though. You can just like make up the craziest stuff.
No, I would just honestly tell them like, hey, I'm not okay with you guys taking away my ability to purchase certain things just because you guys think it's morally apt for you to make judgments on my purchasing. Nah, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't lie about my dog stealing my credit card.
Oh my gosh. Maybe that's a bad idea though. Yeah, I'm not suggesting anyone actually do that. I'm just saying though. And so back on the Reddit thread, someone basically said like, yeah, man, all you got was a generic response, but I appreciate the effort. And the OP responds to that saying, honestly, I expected nothing, or a generic non-response email about how much they appreciate the feedback and do their best to work it out or something along those lines. What I didn't expect was such a blatant gaslighting attempt / straight up lie. Anyway, nothing new under the sun. I just thought the community might get a kick out of it.
And again, this wouldn't be an issue if people still paid everything with cash and we didn't have just 2 payment processors that controlled everything. I can't believe how unregulated this shit is. How long has MasterCard and Visa been around for? Since like the 90s?
And I'll leave it there. Just thought some of this stuff was pretty amusing, and I hope you guys got a laugh out of it. Despite some bad news lately, there is some wholesomeness with people fighting back together, fighting back against these corrupt companies and these corpos. So yeah, once again, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. Consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed my coverage. I'll see you in the comments here and in the next one.
Wait, idea. Buy a bunch of Steam cards. Yeah, how would they know what you're buying? Yeah, just buy a bunch of Steam cards. Easy clappers. No, realistically, we need to find a way to go around this with different payment processors. So people are suggesting crypto, but it's like, crypto's so unstable. How are you gonna regulate and monitor that? I'm freaking done. First time chatter. Very strong. Yeah, I think the internet really made it take off a lot. Yeah, sure, credit cards and stuff were around since the 50s. I get it, but I think buying digital goods online has become so easy that it's just like so easy for them to just have all the power. And now we're trying to fight back, and they're like, no, you can't buy dirty magazines or dirty anime figurines, please. You can't do that. Nuh-uh. They have to change the law for those companies because they're so big they shouldn't have a choice in being able to choose, and you can't who you can and can't service. Yeah, well, we don't have an alternative. It's literally like YouTube. Again, this kind of circles back to this whole hitting YouTube with the 18 under law or whatever, or they're making you like show the ID, right? You don't really have an alternative. You kind of don't. Yeah, you're kind of screwed, buddy. They have a stranglehold over your balls right now.